Now on WKRG News 5.
This will be a capital murder offense. I mean, there are 5 people who have been killed.
A small home in Citronell, the scene of what authorities are calling one of the most gruesome crimes they've ever seen. We've got details ahead.
It's official. Summer vacation is over for students in Baldwin County schools. They start school today. I'm Debbie Williams at Robertsdale Elementary. We'll have a live report.
And even though everyone is in school, it's still a warm summer day. We'll talk about that on News 5 beginning right now.
From WKRG News 5, the Gulf Coast news leader. The news starts now.
Good morning. It is 5 o'clock on this Monday morning. We're glad you're waking up with us. I'm Jessica Taloni.
I'm Bill Riles. Thanks for watching, everyone. First on 5 this morning, 5 things you need to know, the big stories we're talking about today. A man is in custody in Mississippi, and he faces 6 capital murder charges here in Mobile County. Authorities say 27-year-old Derek Dearman broke into a home on Jim Platt Road in Citronell and killed 5 people, including a pregnant woman.
Hawatha Robinson's trial begins today. He is charged with sodomy and murder in the death of his daughter, 8-year-old Hawaii.
Governor Robert Bentley's proposed lottery bill has passed through the Senate and is headed to the House. To get on the November ballot, the bill must be approved by Wednesday.
And it's back to school time in Baldwin County. They have faced funding challenges, but school superintendent Eddie Tyler tells News 5 they are ready to go.
Students in Miami head back to school today amid growing concerns about the Zika virus. At least 5 people in Miami Beach have apparently been infected with Zika by local mosquitoes, bringing that total number of local infections in the area to 36.
Well, we expect to learn more details today about a gruesome crime over the weekend that left 5 people dead. Happened early Saturday morning on Jim Platt Road in Citronell. Authorities say 27-year-old Derek Dearman broke into a home and killed 5 people inside while they slept. Investigators say multiple weapons were used to commit the crime. News 5 spoke with Mobile County District Attorney Ashley Rich. She described the scene as one of the most gruesome she's ever seen.
I've been an assistant district attorney and now the elected DA, and I for 6 years, total 20-year career as a prosecutor, and I've never seen a scene where there were 5 people that were brutally and viciously murdered, and that's what we have here.
Well, Dearman's girlfriend, Lynetta Lester, had just moved into the home off Jim Platt Road on Friday. One of her relatives lived there as well. We're told Lester was trying to leave Dearman because he was abusive.
Investigators say Lester, along with a 3-month-old child that belonged to one of the victims, was inside when the murders took place.
According to the sheriff's office, Dearman left the scene, took Lester and the baby with him. They drove to Mississippi where Dearman's father lives, and when they arrived, Dearman released Lester and the baby. Well,
he and his father drove to the Greene County Sheriff's Office where Dearman turned himself in. Mobile's district attorney has already started the extradition process to bring Dearman back to Mobile to face 6 charges of capital murder. The reason he is facing 6 charges of capital murder is because one of the 5 victims was pregnant.
Justin and Chelsea Reed were looking forward to the birth of their baby later this year. Both, along with the unborn child, were killed in the attack.
And here are the other 3 victims in that attack: Shannon Randall, Joseph Turner, and Robert Brown. Coming up at 5:30, continuing coverage of the murders. You'll hear from relatives of the victims and community members as they try to deal with what's happened.
And happening today, a high-profile trial begins. It's the trial for a man charged with killing his own daughter. Hawatha Robinson is charged with sodomy and murder. 2 years ago, his daughter, 8-year-old Hawaii, went missing.
Her body was found days later on Rebel Road in 8 Mile. Robinson was indicted a year after his daughter's body was found. Prosecutors say they have DNA evidence linking Robinson to the murder. We expect jury selection to begin this morning. News 5 will bring you the latest developments on air and online. WKRG.com. It's coverage you can count on.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
It is 5:04 on this Monday morning, and kids in Baldwin County, well, they are finally heading back to school. I think it's the summer break that would never end.
You know, it is. It's unusual to have such a long span between one group going back and another. But welcome back, Baldwin County kids, and
parents are jumping for joy over there. They're like, oh, finally, it's here.
So I think that's everybody. Is there anybody left that's not in school? All right. The only thing about summer vacation that hasn't changed is the weather. So it still thinks it's summer even though you're back in school. Let's take a look, show you what that means. And your school day forecast is, well, not a bad one. It's just a summer one with low 90s for a high and scattered afternoon thunderstorms. We have just a very few out there right now. As far as the view across Daphne, we're in Baldwin County right here looking across Mobile Bay. And things look mighty nice to start out this morning, as seen from the Alpha Sky Cam at the Infirmary Medical Center. The temperature 77 degrees, and we're looking at a very high humidity once again. So kind of a sticky start to the morning, but overall not bad. Temperatures in the 70s at most locations this morning. 80s in Destin. You're probably right at 80 or a little above on Dauphin Island this morning too. The radar shows a couple of showers just offshore. Now these may brush the coastline during the morning hours, and then you'll see rain start spreading inland during the late morning and afternoon as the sea breeze rolls in. So scattered afternoon thunderstorms kind of popping up here and there on the sea breeze. We got lots of moisture in the atmosphere, so we'll see quite a few of those thunderstorms this afternoon. But right now, it's a pretty quiet morning commute. On the satellite picture, at least the bigger picture, we got clouds back here to the west and mostly fair skies above right now. Out in the tropics, a lot going on, very active tropics, with Fiona starting to fizzle out now as a tropical depression. An area of clouds and low pressure just about 700 miles off of the Lesser Antilles is one we'll watch for possible tropical development, but it's heading into some dry air. And then this area of clouds and rain that is south of the Cape Verde Islands is very likely to turn into something over the next couple of days, tropical depression or a tropical storm, but looks like it will stay in the Atlantic. 40% rain chance today and tomorrow, and we'll keep a fairly healthy rain chance through midweek. 30% for Thursday through Saturday and 20% on Sunday.
All right, thanks, John. Well, we were talking about it. It is back to school in Baldwin County.
And here it is, a school bus.
It says Baldwin County School Zone. That's good.
We thought that was going to be a live look at Robertsdale Elementary School. That is where our Debbie Williams is standing by live. We are going to check in with Debbie coming up after the break. 5:07 on this Monday morning. Rise and shine, Baldwin County. You are heading back to class today.
Wild about camping? Choose the Backcountry Trail for your camping destination.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, $11 a month interest-free buys you this great dining set or this counter height set. Anniversary price $6.55 or $11 a month interest-free. That's 60 months interest-free financing through Labor Day.
I am the one thing you cannot stop. Let's find out.
Oh, it's on.
The Flash, Tuesday at 7 on the CW55.
Here you go. I think my friends and I are gonna have a lot of fun in this. Oh, look at these girls. Oh, they're so fun. You never take me dancing anymore.
Well, we're married.
You go, girls.
Right now, during Toyota's annual clearance event, get 0% APR for 72 months, plus $500 APR bonus cash on a new 2016 Toyota Corolla. That's 0% APR. Toyota. Let's go places.
You've been injured by a big truck and you're not sure what to do. These days, there are drivers who are overworked, improperly trained, operating rigs which have been improperly maintained. Many times, they're not even paying attention to the road. The laws can be confusing, and you need an experienced team of lawyers on your side. Call or come by Green & Phillips today and get the Green Guarantee. You never need an appointment. Call 1-888-510-1020 right now.
Eyeglass World salutes Haley, who could have booked a nice hotel off the interstate, but for half the price, booked a cabin off the grid. Not surprisingly, Haley shops at Eyeglass World, where she gets the styles she loves and her glasses the very same day, all for an incredibly low price. 2 pairs for just $78. Eyeglass World. See yourself smile. See yourself save.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, $25 a month interest-free buys you this 4-piece leather sectional in 2 colors. Anniversary price $14.99 or $25 a month interest-free. That's 60 months interest-free financing now through Labor Day.
Good morning, Gulf Coast. It is 5:10 on this Monday morning. Back to school for students in Baldwin County. You're looking at downtown Mobile, though. Of course, the sun not quite up. Too early for that.
Baldwin County students are waking up this morning for the first day of school.
They had an extra long summer break compared to some other schools in our area, but it's now over.
Yeah, summer vacation over, time to rise and shine. News 5's Debbie Williams is up early, live in Robertsdale this morning, one of the fastest growing elementary schools in Baldwin County. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning, everybody. It is that day that you either love or you hate, but regardless, it is here, and students will be headed back to class throughout Baldwin County, a big county, and a lot of kids going back to school today. You know, teachers were already back some time ago getting things ready for everybody to get to school today, but this will be the first day for students. It will be another year of challenges for students, teachers, and administrators of one of the fastest growing school systems in the state. Last year, over 31,000 students enrolled in Baldwin County schools, and judging by the number of new portables this year, 14 in all, that number expected to continue to go up this year. Superintendent Eddie Tyler, we rode around with him, our Pat Peterson rode around with him last week, and he says that the biggest challenge for the school system is outside of the classroom.
As I've told you before and others that I speak to, that is the elephant in the room. No matter how hard we're trying to watch our fund balances, to watch our capital monies, put money away for some of these improvements.
So they have a lot of challenges, and that will be something that will be kind of an undercurrent throughout this school year until they can get some of those things settled. Although just last week we saw the groundbreaking at the elementary school in Alberta as they get ready to possibly get a high school in that area. Certainly that would ease some of the growth issues in this feeder pattern. We'll have much more about the school system and what they're going to be expecting this year coming up later on this morning. Have a great morning, everybody. Get up. It's time to go back to school. Live on the Baldwin County Beat in Robertsdale, Debbie Williams, News 5.
All right, thanks, Debbie. See the students now with their little groggy eyes.
Gotta do this again.
Get up again. It's time for school. All right, stay with us. John is coming up after the break with a look at your forecast for this school week ahead.
Plus, is Donald Trump softening his stance on deporting millions of immigrants? We're going to have the latest from the campaign trail coming up. 5:12 on this Back to School Monday for Baldwin County. Keep it right here.
That's memorable, that's me.
That's me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me, TV.
They say family is everything. And when you come to Terry Thompson Chevrolet, you'll be treated like family.
And now save at least 16% on a great selection with model year closeout prices in effect. That's at least 16% savings.
So for your next new Chevy, let Terry Thompson take you home.
There are 15 weekends this summer. Make them count. Find adventures as you find new trails. Own the road by making your own. And if you bring it all, bring it on. Summer's going fast, so there's not a moment to waste. Head to the Acura Summer of Performance event going on now.
Visit Joe Bullard Acura for attractive offers on the MDX.
Get the cash you need when you need it. Cash to pay the unexpected when you least expect it. Title Max, cash is what you get. Visit TitleMax.com. Go on, find out how much you can get, whether it's $1, $5, or $10,000. At TitleMax, all credit accepted, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, a vehicle. 2, a title. 3, an ID. TitleMax, it's easy, and you'll say,
I got my title back with Title Max.
I got my title back with Title Max.
Today we're going to talk about the all-new 2016 Chevy Cruze, but you're only going to answer me in emojis. So this Cruze has built-in 4G LTE Wi-Fi with 24 gigs of data. It also comes with 24 months of Sirius XM satellite radio.
Like word, Chevy. That's the way to go.
This summer, find your tag and get 16% of MSRP cash back on select remaining 2016 Cruze vehicles in stock. That's over $3,700 cash back on this Chevy Cruze.
Beyond has a natural grain-free pet food committed to truth on the label. When we say real meat is the first ingredient, it is #1. And we leave out corn, wheat, and soy. For your pet, we go beyond.
Welcome back to News 5. This morning, it's Monday, 5:15 right now. And this morning, the Clinton campaign says the Democratic nominee is halfway to a $1 billion fundraising goal.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump's campaign promises it's back on track after another week falling in the polls. Brian Webb reports on that.
Donald Trump's newly shuffled campaign staff signaled a possible shift in his stance on deporting millions of illegal immigrants Sunday.
What he supports is to make sure that we enforce the law and that we are fair and humane for those who live among us in this country.
Will that plan include a deportation force?
To be determined.
The mixed signals on Trump's deportation force plan comes as the Republican nominee continued reaching out to minority voters over the weekend. He met with Hispanic leaders in New York on Saturday after sending a stark message to African Americans earlier in the week.
You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
A new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows Clinton now 6 points ahead of Trump in Ohio, a crucial state for his campaign. Hillary Clinton is on a fundraising blitz, 14 states in 2 weeks, as she tries to put her long-lasting email scandal behind her. Her campaign manager addressed a more recent issue, denying foreign donors to the Clinton Foundation received any special treatment.
We have Republicans in Congress and right-wing groups doing everything they can to try to make something out of nothing here.
Clinton will continue fundraising today in Los Angeles while Trump campaigns in Ohio. Brian Webb for CBS News.
In Alabama politics today, the House will vote on a lottery bill proposed by Alabama Governor Robert Bentley. That bill passed the Senate Friday with exactly the 21 votes needed. Now, even though the bill is moving forward, the question is whether there's enough time to get it on the November ballot. The House must approve the bill by Wednesday for that to happen. Governor Bentley, though, says he is willing to do whatever it takes to get a statewide lottery, and that includes holding a special election.
And the full Senate will take up a BP bill this week. The Senate Tourism and Marketing Committee approved the bill last week. Under the bill, the Gulf Coast would receive 190 of the $640 million available. The money would pay for road projects in Mobile and Baldwin counties. The rest of the money would pay off the state's debt.
President Barack Obama is back in Washington following a 16-day family vacation on Martha's Vineyard. The president has come under fire by some for not cutting his trip short to tour flood-ravaged Louisiana. The president will travel to the state tomorrow to see that devastation.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
It's 5:18. John Nodar back from his 16-day vacation.
Wait, whoa.
To La La Land. You've been to La La
Well,
Land.
yeah, I have been there for the last 16 days now that you mentioned it. But anyway, otherwise in Body, I've been right here. So just so you know. Even though the school kids are back, summer. Nobody told the weather.
Summer didn't go away.
No.
School starts and summer's supposed to go away, but it didn't.
It's still here.
Still here.
It's going to be here for another month, six weeks.
Yeah. Let's take a look, show you what's out there for you. Welcome back, Baldwin County. Nice to have you back with us, and let's go ahead and jump into the forecast for today. It's a grade B forecast overall, not too terribly different than what you would expect on a summer day, with a high of 91 degrees and a possibility of some scattered afternoon thunderstorms. We start off in the 70s with sticky conditions, but a beautiful view over downtown Mobile from our Skywatch camera atop the Gulf Quest Maritime Museum. I'll get out of the way for just a moment, and then I'm going to get right back in the way and show you it's 77 degrees at Gulf Quest with 89% relative humidity. Headlines for today's forecast include some thunder, generally a summer weather pattern, and we're back to active tropics as well. 70s to open things up at most locations, mid-70s, 80s in Destin and on Dauphin Island, but overall just a warm summer start to things with a few showers out in the Gulf waters. This is the way we start just about every morning this time of year. And you'll see these brush the coastline during the morning and then start to work inland and grow in coverage and intensity during the afternoon. So right now, very low rain chance for your early morning drive to school or work. As you get home this afternoon, probably about a 40% rain chance. All right, here's the radar, and you got not much going on through the southeastern United States. No really organized weather is out there for the time being. On the satellite, very little happening as well until you get out into the tropics, and then all kinds of things are going on here with the, well, what's left of Fiona, a tropical depression right now. Some clouds and low pressure over the central Atlantic. Coming up on dry air, so at least for the next several days, this is likely to just kind of stay clouds and low pressure. This area of clouds and low pressure south of the Cape Verde Islands in the far eastern Atlantic has a very good chance of becoming a tropical depression or tropical storm Gaston in the next couple of days. It will likely live its life in the Atlantic waters. Fiona, a tropical depression, 35-mile-an-hour winds, and even that might be generous. It could turn into a remnant low over the next couple of days, but this thing has been persistent, resilient even, moving west-northwest at 18 miles per hour. It's not a threat to you. Track forecast just kind of meanders it up toward the north after it hooks around Bermuda, and it continues with 35-mile-per-hour winds, and that may be, again, it may be generous of the Hurricane Center. Weather, I need to take the dust cover off my lips. The WKRG News 5 weather app has a great tropical section is what I'm trying to say. And it also has a terrific radar built right in, so you can keep up with the local showers and thunderstorms. 40% rain chance today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then we drop to 30% to round out the school week. And then maybe a 20 and 30% chance this weekend with highs in the low 90s and lows in the mid 70s.
All right, thanks, John. Stay with us. Some news that is out of this world. No, really.
Out of this world, a capsule that will take astronauts deep into space. It's being built right here on the Gulf Coast. We're going to tell you about it coming up after the break. 5:22 on this Monday morning. We'll be right back.
Southern Cancer Center, navigating you from patient to survivor.
A U-Save denture will give you a beautiful smile, confidence in your appearance, and better health at a price you can afford. Our dental office and denture lab are conveniently located under the same roof. Since 2001, thousands of smiles have been created at U-Save. Call us. We want to make you smile.
If you're struggling with debt, help is right around the corner. Attorney Stephen L. Klimjak now has 3 convenient office locations in the Mobile area, one near you.
I'm attorney Stephen L. Klimjak. We've brought our offices closer to you. We now have 3 convenient locations, Mobile, Foley, and West Mobile. If you're ready to eliminate your debt and get a fresh start, we're right around the corner. Call me for a free consultation in your area.
Attorney Stephen L. Klimjak, 694-0600.
X. X is that unknown factor. X is provocative. X is where you find the shiny stuff. X is love, and lust, and power, and pomp. This is the X side of infinity. Lease the Infinity QX80 for $769 a month. Visit your local Infinity retailer.
You could spend your dollar on this, or you can spend it on this. You could spend your buck on this, or you can spend it on this. This, or this. This, or any of these 10 delicious items on Taco Bell's Dollar Morning Value Menu, each for just $1. Dollar Morning Value Menu at Taco Bell. It's not even fair.
Things really move fast at a Hyundai sales event. After all, it's not every day that you can get these kinds of deals on a car or SUV that offers all the latest technology and is backed by America's best warranty.
Wow, this is amazing.
So what do you think?
I'm going back in.
Oh, excuse me. So tricky.
Now lease the Elantra for just $169 a month.
How'd you do that?
Visit buyhyundai.com.
Beyond has a natural grain-free pet food committed to truth on the label. When we say real meat is the first ingredient, it is #1. And we leave out corn, wheat, and soy. For your pet, we go beyond.
Call Cook's Pest Control today for a free pest and termite evaluation.
It's 5:24. Welcome back. NASA is hard at work on its mission to send astronauts soaring into space to land on some uncharted territory.
Yeah, and they're doing it right here along the Gulf Coast. News 5's JB Buno takes you inside NASA's facilities where the dream of making it to Mars is becoming a reality.
It's been a while since we've heard from NASA, but they're no longer staying quiet. This test at Stennis Space Center is for a rocket engine built in Mississippi, but destined for a manned mission to Mars. It's a big day for NASA as they lift the curtain on what they've been working on.
It's going to change science and the universe, really, as we know it.
Cameras are given a special look inside the Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans East. It's in here they're building Orion, the capsule that'll carry astronauts into deep space on their way to Mars.
Orion is the part where the crew members, folks like me, will sit, 4 astronauts will sit in this vehicle. And this is where it's kind of like the command center of the spacecraft is.
Propelling Orion skyward is the SLS, Space Launch System. This is important as it's the successor to the shuttle program. It's the largest deep space rocket ever conceived, and it's being pieced together at Michoud.
This is the rocket that's going to get humans to Mars. This is our newest heavy lift rocket that is going to be more powerful than the Saturn V. And the first version we're building here at Michoud will be able to lift over 70 tons off the Earth and put it beyond low Earth orbit.
Now, if you're wondering where all the pieces get stacked up and welded together, that's right here in the Vertical Assembly Center. It's an enormous building, 171 feet tall to the very top, to build the spacecraft. The parts for SLS are enormous. When built, it'll be taller than the Statue of Liberty. That's why at the bottom of the SLS rocket, you need the RS-25 engine. Well, actually, you need 4 of them, more horsepower than 120,000 pickup trucks. All these engines being built at Stennis Space Center on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
You need a lot of energy to get off the Earth. That's getting to low Earth orbit. But now you're going to even need more energy to get beyond low Earth orbit. If you want to go to the moon or go to Mars, it's just like gasoline in your car, if you will.
And if all goes according to plan, NASA astronauts will board Orion and launch to Mars on the SLS rocket by 2030.
The amount of effort and engineering that went into it is truly mind-boggling, and we're doing it.
But during the long wait, NASA will be busy conducting countless tests like this one here on the Gulf Coast, the birthplace to NASA's otherworldly endeavor to venture farther and set foot somewhere new. At NASA's Michoud and Stennis facilities, JB Buno, News 5.
Come in now and get the 2016 you've been waiting for at Toyota's annual clearance event. It all ends September 6th, so hurry in before they're gone. Get 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2016 Toyota RAV4. That's 0% APR. Toyota, let's go places.
Do you or a loved one have arthritis, pain, and stiffness in your knees or hips? If so, you may qualify for local research studies. You may receive payment which varies by study up to $1,000. No cost study-related care for the study duration. No cost to you. No health insurance or referrals needed. To see if you qualify, call 877-641-1421 today. That's 877-641-1421 or visit myoatrials.com.
Today we're going to be comparing these 2 truck beds. Let's start over here with this aluminum bed. Put your toolbox up here.
Whoa, that's a big hole. That is unbelievable.
Now let's check out the roll-formed steel bed of the Silverado. Same spot, same empty toolbox.
Took it way better. The steel held up.
This summer, find your tag and get 16% of MSRP cash back on select remaining 2016 Silverado pickups in stock. That's over $7,500 cash back on this Chevy Silverado. See your Gulf Coast Chevy dealers.
What are you waiting for? A 6-year limited powertrain warranty? Savings on performance-matched implements? How about generous customer instant rebates and 0% APR financing for up to 5 years? Head down to your local Kubota dealer before September 30th and take advantage of this incredible offer on a standard L-Series compact tractor. Powerful, versatile, and now more affordable than ever. Kubota. This is what we do.
Baldwin Tractor and Equipment, Kubota Elite Dealer, Highway 59 in Robertsdale. They say family is everything. And when you come to Terry Thompson Chevrolet, you'll be treated like family.
And now save at least 16% on a great selection with model year closeout prices in effect. That's at least 16% savings.
So for your next new Chevy, let Terry Thompson take you home.
Here come the last of the 2016s.
Stylish Prius, sporty Camry, adventurous RAV4, they're all here. But not for long.
Get a 2-year, no-cost maintenance lease on a new 2016 Toyota Camry SE for $199 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
You're watching News 5 This Morning with Bill Riles and Jessica Taloni.
We have a horrible scene here, and it's going to take a long time for this scene to be processed.
What happened inside a small home in Citronell is being described as a gruesome crime. 5 people killed, multiple weapons used, and a suspect is now in custody.
And we'll have more on that story in just a moment. But first, a trial in a high-profile murder case is set to begin today. The scene of the location on Rebel Road and 8 Mile, where 8-year-old Hawaii Robinson's body was found nearly 2 years ago. Here it is. When her body was discovered, people in the community who had rallied to search for her turned that area into a shrine with flowers and teddy bears.
And today, her father, Hiawatha Robinson, will go on trial. He's charged with murder and sodomy. During the search for his daughter, Robinson spoke to News 5 and denied knowing what happened to her.
They got my number just like everybody else. I'm talking about I gotta keep the phone with me. When they call, I answer.
We've worked very hard in getting this case to grand jury and getting all the reports together and the various witnesses prepared and everything done to get this case to grand jury, and we feel very confident with their decision to indict.
Hiawatha Robinson was indicted a year after his daughter's body was found. Prosecutors say they have DNA evidence that links Robinson to the murder. We expect jury selection to begin this morning.
Continuing coverage now this morning of the gruesome murders in Citronell over the weekend. 5 people are dead, including a pregnant woman.
Well, it happened early Saturday morning at a home off Jim Platt Road in Citronell. Around 1 a.m., officers were called to the home for a report of a trespasser. They believe 27-year-old Derek Dearman was on the property then, but by the time officers arrived, he had gone.
His girlfriend, Lynetta Lester, had just moved to this home the day before. We're told she was trying to leave Dearman because he was abusive. Authorities say Dearman returned to that house sometime later, killed 5 people inside, including a woman who was 5 months pregnant.
Each victim sustained multiple injuries from multiple devices, from firearms to other instruments, and so it was just a very very gruesome and horrible scene.
Well, Lester and a 3-month-old baby were inside the home at the time of the murders. He did not kill her or the baby. Instead, he forced them into a car and drove them to his father's home in Mississippi.
And that's where Lester and the child were released. Dearman and his father then went to the Greene County Sheriff's Office, where Dearman turned himself in. Dearman will be extradited to Mobile County sometime this week to face charges.
One of the victims was 5 months pregnant, as we mentioned, which is why Dearman faces 6 capital murder charges instead of 5. Justin and Chelsea Reed were looking forward to the birth of their baby. Both, along with the unborn child, were killed in that attack.
And here are the other 3 victims. They're Shannon Randall, Joseph Turner, and Robert Brown. Brown's father spoke to News 5 about how his son will be missed.
You don't get over this. The only hope I got is to be with the Lord Jesus Christ and with my family there.
Other family members and community members are also reacting to the tragic murders.
It was a shock. I mean, it's still a shock. Right now, I just wish I could be woke up from this bad dream, because it just don't seem real.
I mean, this is something that you don't expect anytime. It don't matter where you live. You just don't expect right down the road something like this to happen.
The most sweetest, the most caring people. They were, you know, you can always count on them on anything, and just keep their family in prayer.
That's why it's so important at churches that we minister in our community, and because there's so many people within our communities that we don't touch, and we need to.
Now, we were expecting a press conference yesterday. That did not happen. We expect that might happen today. We're going to bring you the latest developments to you on air and online at WKRG.com. You can also check out our Facebook fan page.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
Good morning to you. Coming up on 5:35. It's a Monday morning and it is off to school time for, well, all of the students in the News 5 area. Welcome back, Baldwin County. When you get home this afternoon, 91 degrees. Some folks will hear some thunder. If it's not you, then go outside and play Red Rover. There's only about a 30%, 40% chance, that basic summertime chance of thunderstorms, so they won't last all day. Here's the way things look right now. Looking north up the Mobile River, a very quiet Mobile River to start things out this morning, as seen from the Gulf Quest Maritime Museum, where it is 77 degrees with calm winds and high humidity. Temperatures 70s, mid-70s most places, 80s in Destin right now. We'll warm to the low 90s before the day is done, and the radar shows a handful of little showers out here offshore. Nothing on land right now, so your morning commute dry with good visibility. We'll see some of these showers make their way in over the morning hours and then kind of spread out and get bigger during the afternoon. As far as the big picture of the southeast, not much going on. No big weather systems right now. Here's the way it shapes up during your first forecast. We open up with humid conditions, 20% rain chance by lunchtime, 30%, and maybe I'm going to bump that up to 40% by 5 p.m. The extended outlook, I think I already did move it to 40% here. I did. Through the middle of the week each afternoon, 30% Thursday through Saturday, highs each day in the low 90s.
The sun's coming up. It's the first day of school. Be getting up because it's time to go back to class in Baldwin County. I'm Debbie Williams, and we'll have a live report coming up from Robertsdale.
Vision Partners welcomes Dr. Sarah Small.
After your car wreck, what do? First, seek medical treatment. Second, do not ever give a statement to the other driver's insurance company. The insurance adjuster is trained to ask you questions to destroy your case. Third, call or come by Green & Phillips today, and we'll help protect your rights. Our team lives and works right here in the community. We won't let some out-of-town insurance adjuster take advantage of you. That's the Green Guarantee. Call 1-888-510-1020.
Don't miss out. The model year closeout at Bay is drawing to a close. Your last chance for low model year-end prices.
There's never been a better time to buy and save at Bay. Now save up to $13,000 on select 2016 Silverados. Save up to $7,000 on select 2016 Equinoxes. Or save up to $6,000 on select Camaros.
Hurry in today. Time is running out on the model year closeout at Bay.
Go to BayChevy.com and start shopping now. Bay Chevrolet, Government Boulevard at I-65, Exit 1.
3, 2, 1, Wednesday. The coffee, the kids, the commute, the cubicles, the hot water heater. The hot water heater? Well, it is hump day, and it's not payday. It's between paychecks. There goes your budget. Wait, no it doesn't. You know where to go. Advance America. You get the money you need in minutes. It's easy, it's fast, it's done. Hump? What hump? Huh? Fast loans up to $5,000. Advance America. Power on.
If you're struggling with debt and don't have enough money to pay all of your bills, you're probably wondering which bills to pay and which bills to put off. But paying the wrong creditors first could be a big mistake.
I'm attorney Stephen Al Klimjak. There are dozens of things you can do that can jeopardize your options. If you're struggling to pay all your bills, don't make the big mistake. Now is the time to call me. I can help you prioritize your payments so you don't lose your car or your home. 694-0600.
Mobile Symphony. You've got to hear this.
It's 5:38. Good morning, Monday morning to you. Kids in the fourth largest school district in the state are heading back to school today. Baldwin County, the last school district in our area to return to class.
Yeah, doggone it. Get on up out of bed, kids. Time to go to school. News 5's Debbie Williams is up early this morning in Robertsdale. She's at Robertsdale Elementary, where it will be a busy and exciting morning there. Good morning, Debbie.
Yeah, in just a couple of hours, this place will be abuzz with parents dropping off kids and kids running to their first day of class. 30,000 or more than 30,000 students enrolled in Baldwin County schools last year. Those classrooms have been pretty lonely throughout the summer with all those students missing, but that won't happen for long now. Last year's enrollment was 31,087. That trend expected to continue. It has doubled more in the last couple of years. And actually, it has more than doubled in the last 20 years. That trend expected to continue, and all you have to do is look at some of the 45 school campuses throughout Baldwin County to see what looks like mobile home parks have sprung up because of all of the portables that are having to be used. More than 100 portable classrooms in use this year. That's one of the many challenges that Superintendent Eddie Tyler faces in this his first full year as superintendent of Baldwin County Schools. But so far, he says, so good.
I just asked him to give me an opportunity. 11 months, we've done a lot of good things, I think, but we still have a ways to go.
Now, Robertsdale Elementary is one of those schools fortunate enough not to have any portables on their campus, but it is one of the fastest growing feeder patterns, and that may have to change if they can't find the funding to build some more schools. But they have that pay-as-you-go plan, as you know, and they are working on that problem. But we also have some tax revenue issues that will still be discussed and eventually be voted on again by Baldwin County voters. We'll have much more on this first day back to school in Baldwin County coming up. Live on the Baldwin County Beat in Robertsdale, Debbie Williams, News 5.
All right, Debbie, thanks very much. Well, thousands of students head back to school in Miami-Dade County this morning. Health officials there distributed mosquito repellent over the weekend to parents sending their kids to school today in the newest Zika zone.
Yeah, the superintendent of schools helped hand out protective uniforms consisting of long sleeves and pants. The back-to-school push comes just days after authorities identified 5 new cases of the virus in Miami Beach, apparently spread by local mosquitoes. Imagine long shirts and pants in Miami right now.
The area is close to the original Wynwood neighborhood district that was the original Zika zone. Federal health officials now say other states in the Gulf Coast may be at risk.
I would not be surprised if we see cases in Texas and Louisiana, particularly now where you have the situation with flooding in Louisiana.
Zika has been linked to devastating birth defects in pregnant women. Officials with the National Institutes of Health say Zika could hang around the U.S. for a year or two. The NIH has already begun testing a vaccine.
Well, the founding guitarist from the band Three Doors Down has died. Matt Roberts was found in a Wisconsin hotel on Saturday. He was just 38 years old. Roberts left the band a few years back because of health problems. His death seems to be accidentally caused by a prescription pill overdose. Three Doors Down is from our area, Escatawpa, Mississippi.
A News 5 shout out this morning to Lyle Lovett, who took some time to meet some of his fans last night after his show at the Sanger Theater in Mobile. He and his large band played to the sold-out crowd at the Sanger. After the show, he took a little bit of time to talk with some of his fans who waited out by his bus. He took pictures and even signed a man's guitar. And after the show, he and his tour group got on their 3 buses to head for their next show at Fort Worth, Texas. Lyle Lovett, of course, famously from Texas. I didn't even know Lyle was going to be at the Sanger last night.
And now you do.
No
Too
idea.
late.
Our boss let me know. He went to the show.
He told you after the fact, though.
He told me after the fact. Hung out backstage or behind the Sanger when they're getting into their buses and things. You can meet some of them that way too if you just stay up a little bit later.
Big things happen in downtown Mobile.
Yeah. Stay here with us. We've got much more, John, with your forecast for the week ahead. Plus, a wedding turns deadly in Turkey. We've got the latest on that in international headlines when News 5 this morning continues.
5:43 on this Monday morning. Keep it right here.
Supergirl, October 10th on the CW55.
After a car wreck, demand Richard Mather. If you've been injured in a car accident, you need your lawyer to be 2 things. Someone you can talk to about your accident, and someone who will fight the insurance company to get the money you deserve. Nice to you and tough on them. So give me a call today and we'll get started today. If you've been injured in a car wreck, demand Richard Mather. The consultation is free, so call 432-2580.
Things really move fast at a Hyundai sales event. After all, it's not every day that you can get these kinds of deals on a car or SUV that offers all the latest technology and is backed by America's best warranty.
Wow, this is amazing.
So what do you think?
I'm going back in.
Oh, excuse me. So tricky.
Now lease the Elantra for just $169 a month.
How'd you do that?
Visit buyhyundai.com.
At Longhorn, steak is all you need. It's not all you get. Longhorn's Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. Perfectly seasoned sirloin with your choice of side, plus an appetizer. Or a dessert, all with fresh salad and unlimited bread. Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. Tonight, only at Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak. For lunch, try our Steakhouse Burger or any Steakhouse lunch combo starting at $7.99.
I love the author's use of seasons to talk about love. Does anyone have a different interpretation?
I actually felt exactly the same way, and in fact, in chapter 7...
Whoa! It's hard to look at Jeannie's face, because you can only see me.
Winter throughout the story makes...
Flamingos.
I was
just...
Stanton Optical, get 2 pairs of eyeglasses for $69 plus a free eye exam. And for a limited time only, kids get free impact-resistant lenses for back to school.
Well, it's a wrap for the 2016 alligator hunting season in Alabama. 150 tags were issued this season, and they were put to good use. One of the biggest gators we saw this season came in last weekend.
And listen to this, a 12-foot gator weighing in at about 562 pounds. Totals for the season will probably come out sometime this week, but as of last weekend, 35 gators had been caught in our area.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
And when we say our area, what specific area are we talking about?
Yeah, because I want to stay away from that area. In fear of running into
our area right here.
Live gators that are left. I don't want to.
Mad gators.
Don't even want to see them.
Now they're angry.
Yeah, they could be angry. Yeah. Did you get a
Sounds
gator?
like trouble.
Did you run into any gators this weekend?
I didn't, but I am forecasting a gator-nado.
How come that's not the next
That really should be.
sci-fi channel movie?
Starring Nicolas
Gator-nado.
Cage, right here in downtown Mobile.
Nicolas Cage, we'll bring him back down for it.
He's in every movie made in Mobile.
It's true. All right, wake up, Baldwin County students. You are back to school today. And everybody else too, but you're just starting back today. School day forecast is for a high of 91, scattered afternoon thunderstorms, and no, there's no gator-nado today. Maybe some other day. Beautiful weather over Orange Beach right now. Just a gorgeous sunrise here, seen from the Skywatch camera atop the Phoenix East 2 condominiums, looking out over Perdido Pass, where it is 77 degrees with calm winds and high humidity. Just what you would expect in August on the Gulf Coast, with temperatures mostly in the 70s, some 80s showing up in Destin right now. Dauphin Island, you're likely above the 80-degree mark as well. The radar is quiet until you get down here to the Gulf waters. That little bit of green over Mobile is just ground clutter, but this is actual rain south of Gulf Shores, and some of that may brush the coastline this morning. Just a few showers along the coast in the morning, and then we'll see our better chance of rain for most of us this afternoon. So a humid start, partly cloudy skies, a 10% rain chance along the coastline by 9 a.m. And then it spreads inland to about a 20% chance by lunchtime. And at lunchtime, we should be in the upper 80s. Low 90s will be our daytime high. I'm going with 91 between 2 and 3 p.m. And by then, the rain chance has increased a little more to 30%, and will go to 40% before the day is done as the temperatures start to ease downward during the afternoon. All right, so here's what's going on out in the tropics. Very active time in the tropics. Not unusual for it to be active this time of year. And I'm going to start you off with a couple of things. Actually, let me just start off with the farthest away. This area of clouds and rain south of the Cape Verde Islands off the African coast is likely to become a tropical depression, or maybe Tropical Storm Gaston over the next couple of days. It likely will live its entire life in the Atlantic shipping lanes. This area of clouds and low pressure drifting more to the west is running up on some dry air over the next 2 or 3 days, so development during that time is unlikely. It's something we'll watch for development further down the road, but For the time being, not much happening there. And this is Tropical Depression Fiona. It just won't die. But it's still a tropical depression, 35-mile-per-hour winds, moving west-northwest at 18. It's likely to hook around Bermuda and then stay in the Atlantic if it survives this long. But right now, the Hurricane Center is saying at least for 4 days it remains a tropical depression. Here's what's going on for you over the next couple of days. Nothing tropical here, just your basic summer fare with a 40% chance of a shower or thunderstorm today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Highs in the low 90s each day. Get further into the week, the rain chance diminishes a little bit to 30% Thursday through Saturday, 20% by Sunday. And we're going to keep daytime highs in the low 90s, and overnight lows will stay in the low to mid 70s.
All right, thanks, John. In international headlines this morning, a suicide bomber killed 50 people at a wedding party in Turkey over the weekend.
Weijia Jiang reports on that.
All right, apparently we have some technical difficulties with that story. We'll get that to you shortly. Still ahead this morning, we'll preview a couple of municipal elections taking place tomorrow.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide will have a big target on their back to open the football season, don't they always? Details on the latest preseason poll coming up 5:50 on this Monday morning. Keep it right here.
Wild about camping? Choose the Backcountry Trail for your camping destination.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, $14 a month, interest-free, buys this Cindy Crawford home sectional in 6 designer colors. Anniversary price $788 for $14 a month, interest-free. That's 60 months, interest-free financing through Labor Day.
Today we're going to talk about the all-new 2016 Chevy Cruze, but you're only going to answer me in emojis. So this Cruze has built-in 4G LTE Wi-Fi with 24 gigs of data. It also comes with 24 months of Sirius XM satellite radio.
Like word, Chevy. That's the way to go.
This summer, find your tag and get 16% of MSRP cash back on select remaining 2016 Cruze vehicles in stock. That's over $3,700 cash back on this Chevy Cruze.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bathfitter will measure, make, and install right over your existing tub. And only Bathfitter has seamless walls, which guarantees a watertight fit. Plus, they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Call today or learn more at bathfitter.com.
Welcome to Honda.
Thank you.
Head over heels, where should I go? Can't stop myself, out of control. Head over heels, no time to think. Looks like the whole world's out of sync.
So you like it?
I do.
Now is the moment to get the Honda CR-V you love, the best-selling SUV in America, at the Honda Summer Clearance Event, going on now.
Welcome to Honda.
Thank you.
Head over heels, where should I go? Can't stop myself, out of control. Head over heels, no time to think. Looks like the whole world's out of sync.
So you like it?
I do.
Now is the moment to get the Honda CR-V you love, the best-selling SUV in America, at the Honda Summer Clearance Event, going on now.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, choose from a great selection of Tempur-Pedic mattress sets and finance interest-free for 100 months with low monthly payments. That's 100 months interest-free financing on Tempur-Pedic through Labor Day at Rooms to Go.
Stay cozy with Train equipment from the professionals at Baldwin Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back. Tomorrow, municipal elections are being held across Alabama. Voters in at least 40 cities and towns in South Alabama will head to the polls. And there are some interesting elections that will be happening in our area. In Daphne, appointed incumbent mayor Dane Haygood is being challenged by 24-year city council veteran John Lake. A recent News 5 strategy research poll showed the candidates neck and neck. 44% of voters we polled said they would vote for Haygood. 44% also said they would vote for Lake. In Fairhope, longtime incumbent Mayor Tim Kent being challenged by political newcomer and businesswoman Karen Wilson.
Our exclusive News 5 strategy poll showed that 52% of voters we polled said they would be voting for Kent. 48% though said they would opt for Wilson. News 5 and strategy research pollster John Gray says those numbers seem to indicate at least some voters in Fairhope may be looking for a change.
Tim Kent's a good guy. I think he's been a good mayor, but nobody stays in office for 16 years without making enemies and without making decisions people disagree with. A lot of Karen's vote isn't coming from her because her name ID is so low. It's probably coming from people who are looking at Tim Kent and saying, do we need a change in Fairhope?
Now, a couple of important notes about the municipal elections on the Eastern Shore involving polling places. Fairhope will have only one polling place. The Fairhope Civic Center will be open from 7 to 7. In Daphne, there will be only 2 polling places. If you're in districts 1 through 5, you'll vote at the Daphne Civic Center. If you're in district 6 or 7, you'll be voting at Daphne High School's Trojan Hall.
And as we mentioned, at least 40 cities and towns in our area are holding elections tomorrow. Tune into News 5 this morning, tomorrow morning, for election coverage you can count on.
The Summer Olympics in Rio have finally come to a close. 4-time gold medalist Simone Biles carried the American flag during last night's closing ceremonies. Team USA earned 121 medals, 46 of them gold, the most of any nation. Also bringing a gold medal back to the States is Mobile's DeMarcus Cousins. The former LaFleur Rattler was a big part of the U.S. men's basketball team's 30-point win over Serbia on Sunday. Cousins scored 13 points and added 15 rebounds as the Americans won the gold medal for the 3rd straight Olympics. Kevin Durant scored 30 points. After the game, Carmelo Anthony announced he is retiring from Olympic play. He leaves as the only basketball player from the States to earn 3 gold medals in the sport.
Well, the Alabama Crimson Tide starting their football season right where they left off last season, at the top of the college football polls. The Alabama Crimson Tide ranked #1 in the AP preseason top 25. Clemson sits at #2, Oklahoma's #3, followed by Florida State and LSU. For the full preseason rankings, head on over to WKRG.com.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
Good morning, 5:56. Welcome back, Baldwin County students, and all students now in the News 5 area are back in school. Your forecast for today is a grade B that starts off in the 70s, ends up in the 90s, and brings you about a 40% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm about the time you're getting out of school. But for your drive to school, it's actually pretty nice out there with dry streets and good visibility. Here's the Alpha Sky Cam. We're looking out over Dauphin and I-65 here, where it is 77 degrees at News 5. Our winds are calm and the humidity is high. Temperatures 70s most locations. Destin is the exception at 80 degrees, and the radar is quiet with a few showers out in the Gulf waters. That's about it for the time being. The next several days will be very summer-like. Despite the fact that summer is over for students, the summer weather continues. 40% rain chance through midweek, mainly scattered afternoon thunderstorms. 30% Thursday through Saturday, 20% Sunday, with highs each day in the low 90s.
Thanks, John. Coming up in our next hour on News 5, the Mobile County Sheriff's Office is investigating the murders of 5 people in Citronell over the weekend.
We'll have the latest coming up on the suspect and as family reaction after the break. Stay with us. It's 5:57.
For almost 40 years, the attorneys at Padgett and Robertson have been representing people along the Gulf Coast with bankruptcy matters, including personal bankruptcy, Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Contact our Mobile office today and let us help you answer your questions. We offer free consultations to people who want to discuss their bankruptcy-related matters.
Do you or a loved one have arthritis, pain, and stiffness in your knees or hips? If so, you may qualify for local research studies. You may receive payment which varies by study up to $1,000. No cost study-related care for the study duration. No cost to you. No health insurance or referrals needed. To see if you qualify, call 877-641-1421 today. That's 877-641-1421 or visit myoatrials.com.
X. X is that unknown factor. X is provocative. X is where you find the shiny stuff. X is love and lust and power and pomp. This is the X side of infinity. Lease the new Infiniti QX60 for $429 a month. Visit your local Infiniti retailer.
You paid too much for those glasses.
Who?
You. Designer frames? Well, so are these. And these. And these. And they all cost less than those.
How?
America's Best. Where 2 pairs of designer glasses and a free eye exam start at $69.95. Get ready to
Turn some heads.
save money.
That's good too.
The designer sales event is not just a better deal, it's America's Best. Hurry, sale ends soon.
Yeah, like this right here.
It's the Ford Freedom Sales Event with 0 for 72 plus 1,000 bonus cash on 2016 Ford Focus, Fusion, and Escape. Plus, tag vehicles now get 1,000 smart bonus. That means freedom from interest and freedom to choose with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now get 0% for 72 months plus 1,000 bonus cash on Focus, Fusion, and Escape. Plus, specially tagged vehicles get 1,000 smart bonus.
Now on WKRG News 5.
An entire community is stunned over the weekend murders near Citronell. We've got the very latest on that case and that investigation.
The lights are on, the doors are open. It's the first day of school in Baldwin County. I'm Debbie Williams. We'll have a live report coming up from Rock.
So everybody's back in school, but for the weather, it's still summer. We'll talk about that on News 5 beginning right now.
From WKRG News 5, the Gulf Coast news leader. The news starts now.
Good morning, everyone. 6 o'clock Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here on News 5. I'm Bill Riles.
And I'm Jessica Taloni. First on 5 this hour, 5 things you need to know. These are just some of the big stories we're talking about this morning. The man accused of 6 murders outside of Citronell is expected to be brought to Mobile Metro Jail this weekend on charges in Mobile County. Authorities say 27-year-old Derek Dearman broke into a home on Jim Platt Road where his ex-girlfriend had gone to get away from him.
Jury selection begins this morning in the trial of Hiawatha Robinson. He's charged with killing his daughter, Hawaii Robinson, 2 years ago. Her body was found dumped on the side of Rebel Road in Pritchard.
It's the start of the new school year today in Baldwin County, where more than 30,000 students returned to class. Students have been on summer vacation since May 26th.
Voters in at least 40 cities in South Alabama head to the polls tomorrow, including Fairhope and Daphne, where mayors will be chosen. Polls will be open from 7 to 7 tomorrow.
And 5 truckloads of relief supplies are scheduled to leave the University of South Alabama in about a half hour from now. 5 truckloads, that's a good round number. We like 5. The athletic department at South organized the event to help out flooding victims in Lafayette, Louisiana, just one of the many areas devastated by floods.
Our top story this morning, we're expecting to learn more today about what investigators describe as one of the most gruesome crimes they've ever seen.
5 adults and an unborn child found murdered inside a home near Citronell on Saturday. Derek Dearman is in Greene County Jail in Leakesville, Mississippi this morning. That is where he turned himself in at the urging of his father. Police say Dearman went to his father's house after killing 5 people, including a pregnant woman, off of Jim Platt Road in Citronell.
Well, his girlfriend, Lester, had just moved into that home the day before. Police say she was trying to escape an abusive relationship with Dearman sometime between midnight and daylight Saturday morning. Authorities say Dearman used firearms and another weapon to kill the victims while they slept. It's a crime scene Sheriff's Captain Paul Burt says he will never forget.
You know, 5 bodies in a small house. Each victim sustained multiple injuries from multiple devices, from firearms to other instruments, and so it was just a very very gruesome and horrible scene.
Now, Dearman did not kill his girlfriend. Instead, investigators say he forced her and a 3-month-old infant into a car with him. He drove them to Leakesville, where they were eventually released.
The victims in the attack are Robert Lee Brown, Joseph Turner, and Shannon Randall, as well as Justin and Chelsea Reed, who are expecting their first child. They were all lifelong friends from the Citronell area. Family members tell News 5 they still can't believe what happened.
And I hate it happened this way, but it did. But we can't change what happened. It's just, it was horrible, but we don't know what to say about it.
Dearman is charged with 6 counts of capital murder. The district attorney's office has begun the extradition process to bring him back to Mobile.
Happening today, we're following another high-profile murder case. Jury selection is expected to begin today in the murder and sodomy case against Hiawatha Robinson. He's accused of killing his 8-year-old daughter, Hawaii, in September of 2014. You'll recall Hawaii was reported missing by her mother, and the entire community came out to try and find the little girl. Her body was discovered on a trash pile by the side of Rebel Road in Pritchard. After months of going over the evidence, Hiawatha Robinson was charged with his daughter's death, a charge he denies. News 5 is following the trial and will have updates online and on air throughout the trial.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
All right, well, let's take a look at the school day forecast for today as you're heading off to school. You've got a humid start, 76 degrees. And as far as Baldwin County, yes, you're back. Welcome back. Get up, move along. You got things to do. It's 6:05. You're running out of time. So school kids now back in session for the entire area. Some thunder is a possibility this afternoon, but most of us will see at least a good deal of dry conditions out there. It's only about a 40% rain chance, so I think there'll be a lot of the day that you'll have an opportunity to gather your friends and play Red Rover. Here's the view out over Baldwin County from the Alpha Skycam. We're looking out from the Infirmary Medical Center across the Bayway and the Causeway. A lot of folks out there this morning and moving along pretty nicely to start the day with temperatures in the 70s and high humidity. Here's the temperatures around the area. We've got low 70s, mid 70s at most spots, and then a couple of 80s. Destin is at 80 degrees, and Dauphin Island, you've managed to get above the 80-degree mark as well. On the radar, very little happening. Most of this green here you see is ground clutter from the radar, not actual rain, but this is actual rain down here over the waters south of Gulf Shores, and a few showers might brush the coastline during the morning hours. We'll see our better chance of rain, that 40% chance during the afternoon. Out in the tropics, a lot going on out here. Let's start off with Fiona. Still, well, it says tropical storm. It's now a tropical depression Fiona. And we got an area of clouds and low pressure here in the central Atlantic that is going to run up on some dry air for the next few days. And that could very easily become the next tropical storm or tropical depression. Probably Gaston, but it will live its life in the Atlantic waters. Meantime, this central Atlantic situation is probably just going to stay clouds and low pressure for the next 4 or 5 days. It's going to run into some very dry air. Fiona will hook around Bermuda and probably just fizzle out there. So, active tropics, nothing threatening you right now. That's good. News 5's free weather app will keep you abreast of what's happening in the tropics. And it will also let you know what's happening in your neighborhood. It's got a great radar built in, and it alerts you to severe weather. It does a lot of other really cool things. Just check it out. It's free. 40% chance of a shower or thunderstorm for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, mainly during the afternoon hours with highs in the low 90s, lows in the mid 70s. We'll see the rain chance diminish a little bit toward the end of the week.
They may be late to the party, but Baldwin County students are heading back to class today. It's the first day of school. We'll have a live report coming up from Robertsdale.
Wild about camping? Choose the Backcountry Trail for your camping destination.
Be visible, be seen, be at Business Expo, Mobile's largest business-to-business trade show. 200+ exhibitors, giveaways, food samples, and more. Join the Mobile Area Chamber on Thursday, August 25th from noon to 5 p.m. at the Mobile Convention Center. Come by the Chamber at 451 Government Street for a free pass or pay $5 at the door. Remember, Thursday, August 25th. Hope to see you there.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, $34 a month interest-free buys you this 3-piece sectional in 6 colors. Anniversary price $19.88 or $34 a month interest-free. Get the matching ottoman for $99 now through Labor Day.
Trex Tires and Auto Service Center helps keep you rolling this summer with great values on Yokohama tires. Now through August 26, get a $50 instant rebate when you buy a set of 4 Yokohama tires at Trex. That's right, you get our best price on a set of 4 Yokohama tires, then get $50 off on the spot. It's the Yokohama $50 instant rebate event only at Trex Tire and Auto Service Centers. 10 convenient Mobile and Baldwin County locations. The trusted professionals.
NASCAR pride is on display across the South, showcased by visible and oftentimes exuberant support of everything we love about our favorite driver, car, and crew. Well, in season, AFS foundation and waterproofing specialists are also visible across the South in their signature wrapped trucks, providing home repair and support of damaging foundation, waterproofing, and crawl space problems. AFS is proud to be your hometown pro, supporting everything you love, including NASCAR.
Funding is always an issue when we provide services to our community. Porch Creek Indians, through its generous donations, has been instrumental as we strive to save lives throughout Alabama.
I think that Porch Creek feels a sense of responsibility in the community. They have an understanding of how they can affect quality of life.
We know they have seen very hard times as a people, and I think they want to give back and they want to make their state a great place to live.
Mobile Symphony. You've got to hear this.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms To Go, $14 a month interest-free buys you this 2-piece Beauty Rest Recharge Hybrid Queen Mattress Set. Anniversary price $797 for $14 a month. Save over $800. That's 60 months interest-free financing through Labor Day.
You're watching News 5 This Morning with Bill Riles and Jessica Taloni.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. The sun coming up as we get the view from downtown Mobile from our News 5 Skywatch cameras there atop the Gulf Quest Maritime Museum. Folks driving in Baldwin County will notice a whole lot more school buses on the roads as public schools open this morning.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to leave just a few minutes early in case of any traffic tie-ups. News 5's Debbie Williams beat the traffic. She was up before the sun this morning. She's covering the first day of school in Baldwin County and joins us live now from Robertsdale. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning, Jessica. You know, there were just a couple of cars out there when we came to work this morning. But speaking of those buses, there's 300 that will be hitting the road here in Baldwin County in just a few minutes if they're not already on the road. And they will travel 15,000 miles today and every day of the school year. That's one of those astonishing factoids about schools that you learn when you get up early this morning. Teachers have been back in class and getting things ready for a while now, but of course today will be the first day that students will be back. It will be another year of challenges for students, teachers, and administrators in one of the fastest growing school systems in the state. Last year, over 31,000 students enrolled in Baldwin County schools. This year, they're expecting about the same, and there will be students from 27 different countries that will be represented in this new school year. Judging by the number of the new portables this year, there's 14. That number is expected to go up. Superintendent Eddie Tyler says the biggest challenge for the school system is outside of the classroom, though.
As I've told you before and others that I speak to, that is the elephant in the room. No matter how hard we're trying to watch our fund balances, to watch our capital monies, put money away for some of these improvements.
Now, Robertsdale Elementary School is one of those fast-growing school systems. No portables here, but we always like to come to the elementary schools because it's so full of those first-day school jitters, some tearful parents, and some very excited teachers. We're anxious for them to get here just as much as most of them are anxious to come to school. Live on the Baldwin County Beat, Debbie Williams, News 5.
I've got the butterflies in my tummy for those kindergartners and for their parents.
Oh, parents are like, whoa, school, back, ready to go.
All right, well, the college football season, it's almost here. Coming up, you're going to find out where top teams in the SEC showed up in the new AP Top 25. That's when we return.
We will have that along with some spectacular highlights from the closing of the Rio Olympics. Stay here with us, 6:13.
Save big during Honda's summer clearance. Civics $179, Accords $189, CRVs $199 a month during Honda's summer clearance at your Gulf South Honda dealers.
After your car accident, don't accept a small check from the insurance company. Many times their offers are not even enough to cover all your medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. The lawyers at Green & Phillips make insurance companies play fair. And if they don't play fair, we'll fight them in court. If you're injured in a car wreck, call or come by Green & Phillips today. You never need an appointment. Call 1-888-510-1020 right now.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh? Yep, per second. How about that?
This is the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Or current lessees can get this low-mileage lease on this specially equipped Sierra SLE for around $299 per month. GMC, we are professional grade.
He's so lucky. While relaxing poolside, dolphins give him tips on how to win. While dining at our buffet, his shrimp peel themselves. When he's in the mood for a delicious steak, the cows come home to him. And when he's feeling lucky, he plays at the Palace. Palace Casino Resort. Let a little luck rub off on you.
Wherever you are, whether you're ready or not, it's coming. With the power to change the way you live. So you don't have to change the way you live. Generac automatic standby generators. Control your power, control your life.
0% financing with approved credit, free 7-year warranty, free 200-amp transfer switch while supplies last.
Don't you dare follow your dreams. Think big. Or demand your own space. Don't you dare leave it all behind. Don't you dare ask what's next. Discover the first ever Cadillac XT5. Get a 2017 Cadillac XT5 starting at $39,990. Visit your Gulf Coast Cadillac dealers today for this exceptional offer.
Horizon Research is conducting a clinical research study for patients who suffer from chronic low back pain. If you have been treated for this condition and other treatments have failed, this may be the study for you. People who qualify for this study may receive medication.
Top quality healthcare, centered on you.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
6:16. Welcome back. Monday morning, Baldwin County kids joining the rest of the Gulf Coast and
yeah, get with it, kids. What's taking so long? Let's go.
They're not
Get
complaining.
Up. Move.
That's right.
Move
Up
it.
and at 'em.
Move it.
Yeah, well, you know.
How's that James Brown song go? Get on up.
Get on.
Your
Get on.
face.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Gotta get
Time
on
for
up.
school.
We were playing that not long ago, a couple of days ago. Anyway, Baldwin County is back, and even though you're back in school, and that means everybody in the News 5 area is back in school, everybody but the weather still thinks it's summer.
Calendar just doesn't get it.
No, it just doesn't get it. Let's jump in here and show you what that means for you. And for today, your school day forecast includes some summer thunderstorms during the afternoon hours. High of 91 degrees, about a 40% rain chance, so not everybody rained on. And if you do get rain, it won't last forever, just a passing shower or a thunderstorm. It'll move through and then you'll just be back out in the sunshine and steamy conditions. Here's the view in Baldwin County right now. Looking out over the Bayway and the Causeway, folks zipping along pretty nicely this morning, as seen from the Alpha Skycam at the Infirmary Medical Center. And the temperature in Daphne right now is 76 degrees with relative humidity of 91%. 73 in Mobile, 73 in Gulf Shores, 76 in Pensacola, and as warm as 80 in Destin right now. But overall, it's just your basic summer morning along the Gulf Coast with some thunder by this afternoon, summer weather for the next several days, and another hallmark of summer is active tropics, and we have that as well. Let me go back here for just a second and show you the radar. Not much to see, a little bit of rain out in the Gulf waters. Some of these will brush the coastal communities during the morning, but it's more likely if you're going to get rain, you'll get it during the afternoon. Humid this morning, temperatures in the 70s, warming to 80 by about 9 a.m. with a 10% rain chance. Then during the late morning hours, let's go to a 20% chance by lunchtime and 30% during the early afternoon, when you'll see your daytime high of 91 degrees between 2 and 3 p.m. And then late in the day, you've got probably mid and upper 80s with a 40% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. Got a lot going on out here in the tropics. 3 areas that we are watching, including Fiona, which is now a tropical depression. This area of clouds and low pressure in the central Atlantic, and then another in the far eastern Atlantic. And even though this one has some kind of a trajectory that we don't like, it is going to run up on dry air over the next 4 or 5 days, so development is not likely anytime soon, if at all. We'll see. This other situation out here in the far eastern Atlantic will likely become a tropical storm or depression, but it will stay in the Atlantic. So right now, no threats for you. News 5's free weather app is out there for you. It's got a great tropical section as well. And the extended outlook is for standard summer weather here, with 30 and 40% rain chances through the end of the week, scattered afternoon thunderstorms, and highs near 90.
All right, thanks, John. Well, tomorrow, municipal elections are being held across Alabama. Voters in 40 cities and towns in our area will go to the polls.
In Daphne, appointed incumbent Mayor Dane Haygood, who was appointed to the job, is challenged by City Council veteran John Lake. A recent News 5 strategy poll showed both candidates neck and neck. 44% of voters we polled said they would vote for Haygood. 44% said they would vote for Lake. In Fairhope, longtime incumbent Mayor Tim Cant has an edge over political newcomer Karen Wilson. Our exclusive News 5 strategy poll showed 52% of voters we polled said they would vote for Cant. 48% said they would opt for Wilson. News 5 and strategy research pollster John Gray say those numbers indicate at least some voters in Fairhope may be looking for a change.
Tim Cant's a good guy. I think he's been a good mayor, but nobody stays in office for 16 years without making enemies and without making decisions people disagree with. A lot of Karen's vote isn't coming from her because her name ID is so low. It's probably coming from people who are looking at Tim Cant and saying, do we need a change in Fairhope?
A couple of important notes about the municipal elections on the Eastern Shore. Fairhope will have only one polling place. That's the Fairhope Civic Center. It will be open from 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening. And in Daphne, there will be only 2 polling places. If you're in districts 1 through 5, you'll vote at the Daphne Civic Center. If you're in districts 6 and 7, you'll be voting at Daphne High School's Trojan Hall.
Funeral arrangements are pending for Matt Roberts. He's the founding member of the band 3 Doors Down. Roberts was found in a Wisconsin hotel hallway Saturday. His death seems to be accidental, caused by a prescription pill overdose. 3 Doors Down is from our area, Escatawpa, Mississippi. He left the band a few years ago in 2012 because of health issues. Matt Roberts was 38 years old.
Well, speaking of musicians, a famous singer-songwriter performed to a sellout crowd last night at the Sanger Theater in Mobile.
A little later in the newscast, Lyle Lovett greets some of his hardcore fans outside the Sanger Theater. We'll tell you about that. It is 6:22. Keep it here on News 5 this morning.
Check out the Mobile Bay Harley-Davidson Feature Bike of the Week.
Are ants and other pests invading your home? Protect your home with Cook's Pest Control. Cook's uses a proven system that's guaranteed. They begin by controlling pests inside, then maintain a protective barrier outside to help prevent future entry. Regular outside treatments mean your life isn't interrupted by pests or scheduling hassles. Call Cook's. Nobody is more thorough, courteous, or on time.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Cancer, a word that changes everything.
But it's just a word.
It's not a sentence or a definition.
And it's not the whole story.
At Southern Cancer Center, our board-certified oncologists work with you to create a personalized treatment plan to help you fight and survive this disease.
Cancer is a big word, but together it's a word we can erase.
Southern Cancer Center, navigating you from patient to survivor.
I love the author's use of seasons to talk about love. Does anyone have a different interpretation?
I actually felt exactly the same way, and in fact, in chapter 7...
Whoa! It's hard to look at Jeannie's face, because you can only see me.
Winter throughout the story makes...
Flamingos.
I was
just depressing.
Stanton Optical, get 2 pairs of eyeglasses for $69 plus a free eye exam. And for a limited time only, kids get free impact-resistant lenses for back to school.
The Ford Freedom Sales Event is on. Our biggest event of the year just got better. Announcing 0 for 72 across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Plus, tag vehicles now get $1,000 smart bonus. That's freedom from interest and freedom to choose with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now get 0% financing for 72 months across the entire Ford lineup. Plus, specially tagged vehicles get $1,000 smart bonus.
Wow, Labor Day's nearly here, Sarah. Summer is over.
Right, Tom, and the exciting fall season of cooler temperatures.
And football.
Yes, Tom, and football is here. Fall is a great time to spruce up your home. Maybe even that football watching furniture needs an update.
You get our lowest price and best value every time you walk in the door.
So when you need new furniture, come to see us at Barrows, whether it's Labor Day or any other day.
Barrows, Mobile, Pensacola, Flomaton, Dothan, and Delusia.
Welcome back.
Hey, how we doing? All right, John's coming over here. There he goes.
Here he
He's
comes
running over here
to
in a
save
minute.
the day.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we're talking about, though, while he comes. The preseason AP college football poll.
I saw something about this over the weekend.
Yeah, and a
Alabama.
big chunk of our audience is going to be pleased to know that the Alabama Crimson Tide ranking #1 in the preseason poll, right where they left off last year, top of polls.
Can you imagine
that's
that?
no surprise. I mean, they're a juggernaut.
Yeah.
That's why they're a juggernaut.
Well, Clemson's at #2, Oklahoma, Florida State, and LSU round out the top 5. So you have 4 of the top 5 teams in the country from the South.
And some more notables here.
There
The
you
SEC, Tennessee, Ole Miss,
One of your
Georgia,
favorites,
Florida.
Wow.
All in the top 25. It's a tough conference to play in.
It really is, and it's amazing because you've got to play each other, so it's still amazing that all those are in that.
Have you seen Ole Miss ranked this high going
Yes.
into the preseason before?
Oh, yeah. We've seen Ole Miss ranked #4, and it just lasts a good
10 minutes?
Well,
Till the first game?
It is
All
what
right.
it is. Hotty
Anyway.
By the way, an Ole Miss alum here.
I'm a fan of the SEC as well. Just big fan.
Just giving you a little heartache
Little
there.
ribbing,
Just-
a little
yeah, there you
Hey,
go.
but college football season begins 1 week from Saturday.
That's
Just
right.
A note to make.
All right. Hey, last night the Olympic Games are over for Rio. Olympians and fans said goodbye to the Rio Games on Sunday with this spectacular closing ceremony. Wow. That's
It's
pretty
just not
colorful,
a closing
wasn't it?
ceremony without a lot of fire.
I was going to say, they got some fireworks going there. Really, what a terrific Olympics with Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt. I mean, 2 of probably the greatest of all time in both of their sports. And then the newcomers, you got Katie Ledecky out there and Simone Biles.
Yeah. 121 medals for the USA, for Team USA. China in second place in the medal count with 70. Hello.
And
that's a
unknown
distant
to
second.
NBC, we find out just how audiences react to men in Speedos on the beach. They were all in the background there as Mike Tirico and the other announcers did their thing in sport coats on the beach, and behind you, you've got
half-naked men.
Lots of guys out there on the beach. And
games are
that's what they wear there.
That's how it is.
2020 games, though, in Tokyo, and they've already launched their social media accounts. You can go ahead and follow Tokyo 2020 on Twitter.
All right, there you go. Let's get to your Bayway report and see how things are shaking out on the Bayway this morning, east and westbound. We have a disabled vehicle there, and that's slowing traffic down to 1 lane. I believe that is westbound.
Does that mean we're going to hear something other than the Angels this morning?
Oh, okay.
this?
Being corrected, it is eastbound near the Daphne exit, so be careful if you're heading in that direction, down to 1 lane eastbound on the Bayway there.
Wah, wah.
Wild about camping? Choose the Backcountry Trail for your camping destination.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, $17 a month interest-free buys you this stylish 5-piece cherry bedroom with storage drawers. Anniversary price $9.99 or $17 a month interest-free. That's 60 months interest-free financing through Labor Day.
Carl and Jan were camping with their family.
Hey, sweetie, do you mind if I get your wallet? I'm going to run down and get some hot dogs for dinner.
You know we're gonna catch dinner, right?
Yes, yes I do. Okay.
Jan lost his wallet at the store. There was no ID in it, but the guy who found it found my business card and called me. I liked saving them money, but I loved helping them save their vacation. It was a good call.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
Tartar sauce, hon? Yes.
Have a look around.
Thank you.
Got me looking so crazy right now, your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Looking so crazy in love, got me looking so crazy in love.
So you like it?
I do. Now is the moment to get the Honda Accord you love. Named to Car Driver's 10 Best list a record 30 times at the Honda Summer Clearance Event, going on now.
Is your home air conditioning system not functioning properly, causing your home to be uncomfortable and your utility bills to be too high? Call the team of home experts at Don Hembry Air Conditioning, and we'll help you get the comfort and efficiency with natural gas that you deserve.
Don't waste your time putting tape on windows when a hurricane's coming. It does nothing. You need plywood or strong panels to protect the glass, but don't let the wind make it hit the glass.
This hurricane tip brought to you by Don Hembry Heating and Air.
Dr. Glenn Esses of the Vascular Center is pleased to announce the addition of fellowship-trained vascular surgeon, Dr. Lee Ferguson. The Vascular Center specializes in the treatment of arterial and venous disease with state-of-the-art minimally invasive care. If you have been diagnosed with or suffer from a condition brought on by arterial or venous disease, trust your care to the doctors medical professionals choose. The Vascular Center, conveniently located in Mobile, Daphne, and Atmore.
There's nothing like trying something new, especially when it comes to snacking. That's why we're introducing Cheese Dippers, the creamy cheese and crunchy breadsticks that go wherever you do. Cheese Dippers by the Laughing Cow. Reinvent snacking.
Now through Labor Day at Rooms to Go, $17 a month interest-free buys you this 5-piece living room in 3 colors, or this coastal style. Anniversary price $9.99, or $17 a month interest-free. That's 60 months interest-free financing through Labor Day.
Well, if you were heading out the door this morning, heading eastbound on the Bayway, you'll want to know about this. A disabled vehicle on the Bayway near the Daphne exit. We're told is where that is. They are cleaning it up right now, or moving things out right now. We hope that's cleared in the next 15 minutes. But if you are heading out the door, you'll want to give yourself an extra minute or two. Well, the worst mass murder in Mobile County in recent times, and one of the worst ever in the state.
5 people, including a pregnant woman, were brutally killed in a home in Citronell early Saturday morning, and investigators say one man is responsible. Derek Dearman remains in the Greene County Jail in Leakesville this morning. Mobile County authorities are working on bringing him back to Mobile County to face 6 capital murder charges.
All of the victims were found inside a home on Jim Platt Road near Citronell. Investigators believe the attacks began as the victims were asleep. They say Dearman used at least one firearm and another weapon to kill all 6 victims. It's 5 adults and one of them was a pregnant woman. Mobile County Sheriff's Captain Paul Birch says the scene was overwhelming.
Well, the number of victims and then just the injuries that were inflicted upon each victim. I mean, it was, what we would term as overkill.
Investigators with the Sheriff's Department and the FBI spent Saturday and part of Sunday collecting evidence and speaking with one witness to the murders. According to investigators, Lanita Lester and a 3-month-old child were taken by Dearman from the murder scene to his father's home in Leakesville, Mississippi. The pair was released and she alerted authorities to what happened. According to Dearman's and Lester's Facebook pages, they became a couple back in January, but investigators say she went to the home in Citronell to escape the relationship, which had become abusive.
The victims are Robert Lee Brown and Joseph Turner, Shannon Randall, and Justin and Chelsea Reed, and it was Chelsea who was 5 months pregnant. Family members tell News 5 they still cannot believe what happened.
It was just so unexpected, and they never hurt anybody. They stayed to themselves. They tried to help anybody they could. But it all happens for a reason, and this is in God's hands. That's how we just got to trust in Him.
And the Mobile County District Attorney's Office has already begun the extradition process to bring Dearman back to Mobile County this week to face charges.
Well, you have to go back 7 years to find anything remotely similar to the Citronell murders in the state of Alabama. On March 10, 2009, 28-year-old Michael McClendon killed 10 people and himself in what has become known as the Geneva County Massacre. 5 of his victims were family members, including his mother and grandparents. Investigators say McClendon left a suicide note claiming he was in a legal feud with his mother's family and that his mother had, quote, suffered enough.
Well, it has been almost 2 years since young Hawaii Robinson was found murdered in Pritchard, and today her father, Hiawatha Robinson, is going on trial for sodomy and murder. Jury selection begins in Mobile Circuit Court this morning. There is a lot now where Hawaii Robinson's body was found on September 18, 2014. The community had pulled together in search of the missing girl. She was found by a public works employee in a trash pile alongside Rebel Road in Pritchard. During the search, Hiawatha Robinson spoke to News 5 and denied any knowledge of what happened to his daughter.
They got my number just as well as just like everybody else. I'm talking about I gotta keep the phone with me. When they call, I answer.
We've worked very hard in getting this case to grand jury and getting all the reports together and the various witnesses prepared and everything done to get this case to grand jury, and we feel very confident with their decision to indict.
Prosecutors say they have DNA evidence that links Robinson to the crime. Robinson has pleaded not guilty.
A no cruising zone and tighter open container ordinances were 2 things city officials hoped would make downtown Mobile safer over the weekends. And Saturday night, Mayor Sandy Stimpson and Police Chief James Barber took a stroll downtown.
The mayor posted this picture to his Twitter account. You can see him. It looks like maybe Dolphin Street there. Our overnight producer got a couple of calls in the newsroom noting an increased police presence downtown. Later this morning, the police department will release its weekend recap. We'll get a look at that and see well, how things went downtown.
Yeah, I think the mayor and the police chief pretty safe. You got all the officers around him. I don't think anything's going to happen to them as they're taking a walk downtown there. Safer downtown area. Well, a lot of sleepyheads in Baldwin County this morning. It is back to school today for students and teachers.
May 26th was the last day of school in Baldwin County, and they are the last system in our area to return to classes. News 5's Debbie Williams is on the Baldwin County beat this morning in Robertsdale, where she has been covering the start of school for us this morning. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning, Jessica, and we have moved inside Robertsdale Elementary. This is a big day here in Robertsdale for all the school systems, and we're here with the principal of Robertsdale Elementary, Miss Faye Shepard, and just an exciting day, isn't it?
Absolutely. We have looked so forward to this day. Our teachers have worked hard getting their rooms ready. They've been through lots of in-service this summer, learning a new reading program, a new science program. The custodians have worked tirelessly, getting the school clean and floors stripped and waxed. Our Leader in Me team has come in and redone our whole main hall in Leader in Me murals. So please, I hope you'll get to take a look at that while you're here.
Certainly. How many students will be enrolled? I mean, I know you don't have a hard number, but this is one of the fastest growing elementary schools in our area.
Yes, ma'am, it is. In fact, we enrolled quite a few last week. We're at about 1056 right now, but there will be lots of new ones coming in today, and our library will be open for them to do registration now that we have to fill everything out in paper now and then input it into the computer. It takes a little bit of time, but we'll get them in and get them to a room.
You've done this for how many years?
This is going on my 7th year here at Robertsdale Elementary.
On the first day of school, especially for an elementary school, is there anything in particular that you look forward to or that you've learned over the last 7 years to be on the lookout for? This is one of those days that you get a lot of first days jitters and that type of thing.
It is. You know, of course, we always look forward to having the kids come back. We had Meet the Teacher last Thursday night, and the kids are just so excited to be back in school. We are a large school here. We do have a lot of custody issues. Therefore, we have locked down the front. We've put an intercom with a buzzer so that we can identify folks as they come on campus. We have locked down our our main hall, and it's sad to think that we're living in times like this, but you know, some of the custody issues get hot sometimes and people snap, so we always want to err on the side of safety. We had a company come down from Birmingham last week to give us an estimate on protective film to go over our glass. We have a lot of glass here in the school, not only in the front but in the cafeteria. So we just want to make it a safe place, and you know, we just pray for the kids to get here safely and back home safely. We have about 28 buses that come through here. Wow. And a huge car rider group as well.
So security is certainly an issue that you always have to be concerned about, but on the first day of class, it's all about let's get them in and let's get going, right?
Absolutely. You know, like I say, the teachers that today want to spend this week or today working on rules, expectations, procedures, and then, of course, they've planned some get-to-know-you, community-building type activities in the classroom, and then, of course, with the new curriculum, getting started with that.
Thank you so much, Principal Shepard, and hopefully it's going to be a great year. I know it will be here at Robertsdale Elementary.
Thank you. We are looking forward to it.
And they are doing that at every school. There's 45 of them throughout Baldwin County that are starting school today. Maybe a little late to the party, but Baldwin County School back in school. First day of class for a new school year. Live on the Baldwin County Beat in Robertsdale, Debbie Williams, News 5.
All right, thanks much, Debbie. Lawmakers will return to Montgomery tomorrow for the governor's special session.
The House will consider the governor's lottery bill, which passed the state Senate on Friday, but the clock is ticking. If it's going to get on the November ballot, that bill must be passed by the end of the day on Wednesday. Otherwise, the governor will have to call another special session, which he says he is willing to do. The senators spent a good part of the afternoon on Friday offering up amendments after amendment to the bill, but there may be little time to get everything in order if they're going to put a lottery bill on the November ballot. And Governor Bentley says he's not opposed to calling another special session.
Oh, absolutely, and we will do that. It probably, though, would be an election, I would think, after Christmas rather than before Christmas.
Initially, the lottery bill would have sent all lottery revenue to go to the general fund, but as it stands now, the amended version has millions going to the Education Trust Fund and Medicaid as well.
News 5 traffic brought to you in part by Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. We begin with good news. We had an earlier accident there crossing the Bayway around the 33-mile marker on I-10 eastbound that has now been cleared. The wrecker has cleared the scene and emergency vehicles are headed out of the way as well. So things should be getting back to normal there here in a few minutes. Accident's been out there for about an hour, hour and a half, but things are looking much better there crossing the Bayway headed to the eastern shore. Headed to Mobile, we're looking good there as well. No problems through either of the tunnels, and Mobile police reporting no accidents in the Mobile area. I'm Kenny Fowler with your WKRG News 5 traffic.
Traffic brought to you by Goldstein's Jewelers since 1879. Online at goldsteinsjewelry.com. Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
Good morning to you. It is 6:41. It is the first day of school for Baldwin County students, as you have heard. And as you head back to school, well, welcome back. Glad to have you. Now, all of the students in this News 5 area are back in school. The only thing that is still summer is our weather, which is humid and, well, starting off pretty quietly, but some thunder is a possibility this afternoon. About a 40% rain chance. Most folks won't get rained on, so at some point today, I think you can gather your friends and play Red Rover. Send Bill Riles right over. Here's the view. It's a beauty across the treetops of Midtown toward a silhouette of the skyline of Mobile as the sun comes up over Mobile Bay. Temperature is 77 degrees here at News 5, where the picture comes from, and we're looking at relative humidity of 90%. So definitely a summer feel to the morning. Temperatures, lots of 70s out there, an 80-degree reading in Destin. And as far as the radar, not much to see. We've had a few showers out in the Gulf waters. Some of those may brush the coastline later on this morning, but most of us will wait until the afternoon for the possibility of showers and thunderstorms. You'll see that here in the hour-by-hour forecast. A humid start, maybe a 10% chance of rain by 9 a.m. Let's bump that up to 20% at lunchtime. And by lunchtime, you're at least close to 90 degrees. I think we'll hit 91 for a daytime high between 2 and 3 p.m. 30% rain chance early afternoon, 40% as you are heading home from work and school today, and the temperatures will ease down just a little bit toward dinner time. In the tropics, things are mighty active out here. Not unusual for this time of year to see a lot of activity. There's only one tropical cyclone working right now, and that's Fiona, which is down to a tropical depression. It's just persistent, won't seem to go away. It's drifting over toward Bermuda. There's an area of clouds and low pressure in the central Atlantic that we'll talk about in just a second, and another way off here in the far eastern Atlantic that could very well become the next tropical depression or tropical storm. That one will live its life in the Atlantic waters and probably not bother land. Fiona will drift around Bermuda, probably fizzle out there. And this third system, the one with a trajectory that is, well, something that we don't like to see, nonetheless is running up on dry air over the next 3 or 4 days. So no development there for at least the time being. We'll watch it and see what happens later, but I wouldn't be losing a whole lot of sleep over it just yet. Here is what's going on in the beach forecast. Low risk of rip currents, that's good. Surf 1 foot. The temperature 86 to 89 degrees at the area beaches, 91 if you're in town, with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms through Wednesday in the afternoons each day, 30% Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 20% by Sunday.
Well, thanks, John. Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll take a look at South Louisiana, where epic flooding there has resulted in piles of debris along many streets.
6:44 on this Monday morning. Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
WKRG News 5. Coverage you can count on.
After your car wreck, there's a faster way to get the important information you need. Download the Green & Phillips app today. Learn the top 10 steps you should take after the accident. Get the Green & Phillips app for the Green Guarantee.
Looking for dining to please everyone? Then IP is your place to be for big anniversary plans or sports fans, for family feasts, or where friends meet. From amazing Asian to authentic Italian, all you can eat to cook at your seat. It's all here waiting for you, including dessert.
Casino Resort and Spa is fun for everyone.
Last year, we finally retired. We had Sophie. It's nice being able to relax.
Relax? That doesn't happen here.
We've invested well. These days, we just need a safe place for our money.
We need a place that's big enough for the 4 of us.
So, we bank at Trustmark.
So we called Trustmark.
Next week, we're packing for a cruise.
We're packing for the big move.
Mom, do we have to take Sophie?
Oh boy.
Your smile can make a great first impression. Let Dixie Dental put a smile back on your face. With an in-house lab, our doctors, dental assistants, and technicians work together to provide you with a comfortable and natural-looking denture. We work to give you confidence in your appearance. In most cases, your denture can be completed in 1 day. From simple repairs to mini implants, Dixie Dental Center is the affordable 1-day denture service on the Gulf Coast. Dixie Dental Center.
After a car wreck, demand Richard Mather. If you've been injured in a car accident, you need your lawyer to be 2 things. Someone you can talk to about your accident, and someone who will fight the insurance company to get the money you deserve. Nice to you and tough on them. So give me a call today and we'll get started today. If you've been injured in a car wreck, demand Richard Mather. The consultation is free, so call 432-2580.
Enjoy smoked barbecue and local seafood at Catfish Junction. Our all-you-can-eat catfish and shrimp special is available anytime. Now you can also enjoy a cold beer or glass of wine with your meal. I-65 and Exit 13 in Saraland. Catfish Junction, a local favorite.
You've been injured by a big truck and you're not sure what to do. The laws can be confusing, and you need an experienced team of lawyers on your side. Call or come by Green & Phillips today and get the Green Guarantee. Call 1-888-510-1020.
You're watching News 5 This Morning with Bill Riles and Jessica Taloni.
Good Monday morning to you. It is 6:47 as the sun is rising over the Mobile River. back to school for kids in Baldwin County, joining the rest of our viewing area. Well, let's get you caught up with what's happening in the presidential race this morning. The Clinton campaign says the Democratic nominee is halfway to a $1 billion fundraising goal.
And while Donald Trump's campaign promises it's back on track after another week of falling poll numbers, a new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows Clinton now 6 points ahead of Trump in Ohio, a crucial state for the campaign. Over the weekend, Trump began running television ads in key battleground states where he trails Clinton.
Hillary Clinton is on a fundraising blitz, 14 states in 2 weeks, as she tries to put her long-lasting email scandal behind her.
Pick a street in South Louisiana and chances are you will see the devastation piled up on the roadside, roads lined with debris and filled with heartache. Lieutenant Michael Switzer is with the National Guard. His soldiers are based out of Napoleonville and Carville, Louisiana, so this is home to him. These are his people and this is personal.
We're from Livingston Parish, so we've seen a big impact, but it's amazing to see. I guess it's just all the disasters we've had previous with floods and oil spills and Katrina. It's definitely, in the resilience that we've had from those has built what it is now. The people that come here are so grateful. Some of them don't have words. They just break down in your arms and start crying because they're so grateful. And when our soldiers see that, that motivates them to feel pride in what they do, so it keeps them going.
Well, these soldiers have given out more than 4,000 MREs. Those are meals ready to eat. More than 7,000 bottles of water just in that area.
More help is on the way. 5 truckloads of relief supplies are leaving the campus of the University of South Alabama this morning, headed for Lafayette, Louisiana. Supplies that have been collected over the past several days in Mobile. The USA Athletic Department chose Lafayette because that's the home of the Ragin' Cajuns of the University of Louisiana Lafayette, one of their Sun Belt Conference rivals on the athletic field.
And as you're heading out the door on this Monday morning, things looking much better on the Bayway. Eastbound and westbound are clear now.
Had that little accident earlier, but that's all cleared up. Kenny Fowler with your full traffic report coming up on the other side of the break. It is 6:50, 10 minutes ahead of 7 o'clock.
Stay cozy with Train equipment from the professionals at Baldwin Heating and Air Conditioning.
Engineered to literally drive circles around the competition. The all-new Audi Q7.
You need money fast. Go to Always Money. We have secured and unsecured loan options, so we always have a way to help you. Remember, Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
Always Money always has a way to help you. Always Money.
Which attorney has the most convenient locations in South Alabama? Attorney Stephen L. Klimjak. If you're struggling financially, get immediate help. Call Attorney Stephen L. Klimjak for a free consultation near you.
I'm Attorney Stephen L. Klimjak. I've helped thousands of people in South Alabama get out of debt and get a fresh start, and I can help you. We have offices at Mobile, Montgomery, Foley, and now West Mobile. Call me for a free consultation, 694-0600.
Coming up, the authors of the new book, Trump Revealed, Why Donald Trump is Much More Complex Than He Appears to Be. That's coming up on CBS this morning.
CBS puts the I in comedy.
I like it.
And this fall, it's bigger than ever before. Big shows.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ready.
Oh,
hello.
Forget about it.
Big stars.
I like that.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3. I like it.
It's comedy's best season.
Woo!
All new this fall. Only CBS.
I like it.
Do you or a loved one have arthritis, pain, and stiffness in your knees or hips? If so, you may qualify for local research studies. You may receive payment which varies by study up to $1,000. No cost study-related care for the study duration. No cost to you. No health insurance or referrals needed. To see if you qualify, call 877-641-1421 today. That's 877-641-1421 or visit myoatrials.com.
Get the cash you need at Always Money. Own your car? Then Always Money is the best place to go for an auto-secured loan. You keep your car and leave with cash in your hand. Remember, Always Money.
Always Money always has a way to help you. Always Money.
Think of it as a 7-seat theater for an action-packed thriller. The all-new Audi Q7.
Now, John Nodar with First Alert Weather.
Over 7 minutes ahead of the hour, that'd be 6:53 if you don't want to do the math. If you're in Baldwin
Hold
County,
on,
though.
I've still got to watch with hands on it, so it's easy for me to figure that one out. All right, Baldwin County.
They're doing some math this morning.
Woo, and if you aren't already on your way, you're going to be soon, so get ready. Baldwin County back in session. That means all of the News 5 students are back in session.
Back in school.
Okay, the only thing left in summer mode is our weather. Let's take a look, show you what that means for you. Your forecast for the school day today is a grade B. Not bad for this time of year. It's pretty much what you would expect, with a high of 91 degrees. And by the time you're getting out of school, a 40% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. This morning, busy traffic at I-65 and Dauphin Street, seen from the Alpha Sky Cam, and that's at the Infirmary Medical Center there. News 5 temperature 77 degrees with 90% relative humidity, so definitely a summer morning. Temperatures 73 at Mobile's airport and in Gulf Shores, 76 Pensacola, and an 80-degree reading in Destin. Most folks awakening in the 70s right now. The radar is quiet, not much to see. Want to encourage you to get the News 5 free weather app. It's got, among other things, a great tropical section on it, and the tropics are pretty active right now. Area of clouds and low pressure near the Cape Verde Islands could become a tropical storm. It will stay in the Atlantic. This area of clouds and low pressure running up on dry air for the next several days. That's good. And then Fiona probably will fizzle out eventually. Here is the extended outlook for you. Nothing tropical here. We're looking at highs in the low 90s, lows in the mid 70s, and your pretty standard summertime chance of showers and thunderstorms. 40% today through Wednesday, 30% to round out the week.
News 5 traffic brought to you in part by Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. Our Monday morning commute looks good, crossing both directions of the Bayway and Causeway, and we're delay-free through both tunnels and in the Mobile area. It's back to school for the kiddos in Baldwin County, so be careful through those school zones. In the Fairhope area, if you have a child that goes to J. Larry Newton School, be aware that County Road 32 just east of County Road 13 is closed. It'll be that way for a while, so you'll probably have to take County Road 34 to Highway 181 as an alternate route. And in Mobile, just getting a report of an accident, I-10 headed eastbound there just past the March Road overpass. Looks like we've got a 2-mile delay on the interstate. I'm Kenny Fowler with your WKRG News 5 traffic.
Traffic brought to you by the Vape Shop of Pensacola, Pace, and Gulf Breeze.
Well, our top story this morning, we expect to learn more today about the horrific murders of 5 people, including a pregnant woman. Derek Dearman is in the Greene County Jail in Leakesville, Mississippi this morning. He will be extradited back to Mobile County, where he will be charged with 6 counts of capital murder.
Well, the murders took place sometime between midnight and dawn on Saturday morning at the end of Jim Platt Road near Citronell, and that's where police say this former girlfriend, Lanita Lester, went to escape an abusive relationship with Dearman. We are expected to hear more from investigators today, and we'll have, of course, the latest on air and online, WKRG.com. Finally this morning, 4-time Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Lyle Lovett played to a sellout crowd last night at the Mobile Sanger Theater, and then he took time after the show to meet some of his fans who waited by his tour bus late into the evening. He shook hands, posed for pictures, and even signed one man's guitar.
Oh, Lyle Lovett and his large band.
That's right. They're at the Sanger. They're headed back to Fort Worth for shows there. That's right. You're not from Texas, but Lyle don't care. He wants you at his shows anyway.
3 buses he had in his entourage, too.
Yeah, I know.
3 buses.
That's because he has a large band.
That's right.
Large band.
Call it the large band. We've got more coming up. News 5 at 9 a.m. this morning. Devin Walsh will be here along with that man right there, John Nodar.
See you then.